There are 3 fantastic National Trust properties in the county of Fermanagh, each with their own individual story. I'm going to take a look at Florence Courthouse. As you approach a house like this, you get a real sense of history. The history oozes off it. I'd like one of these at my front door. Let's see who's inside. Hello, Heather. How are you?
Brian, how are you?
How are you doing?
You're very welcome to Florence Court.
The plasterwork inside is amazing. Tell us about it.
It is. The house is famous for its plasterwork. Unfortunately, a lot of the plasterwork was destroyed in a fire here in 1955. And of course, the National Trust had only had the house a few years at that time, and they were then responsible for doing all the restoration work, which took actually 4.5 years.
This is a completely different feel to it. This particular part of the house, it almost feels like the heart of the house, the beating heart of the house.
It really was the engine room of the house. This is where all the work was done. It was a very busy place, lots of hustle and bustle down here.
How many servants would there have been at any time?
About 24 indoor servants.
24 servants? I'd say the crack in a place like this would have been brilliant.
It would. I think high days and holidays here must have been fantastic.
With a fully functional water-driven sawmill, a working forge and a beautiful rose garden, there really is an awful lot to see in the grounds of Florence Courthouse. Fermanagh has a wealth of historical properties, and nestled in the trees behind me is the jewel in the National Trust crown. It's Castle Cool. It's a great house in a fabulous location, but the interior is amazing. I have to say, it's a really good place to visit. Now, the third of our National Trust properties is completely different. Welcome to the Crom Estate, where it's all about nature. Stuart, tell us about the Crom Estate.
Crom Estate is very different from the other National Trust properties in Fermanagh. It's all about nature, and it's all about the countryside. Crom has a variety of habitats and species, very important and unique in Northern Ireland. We have the largest area of semi-natural oak woodland in Northern Ireland, some really important and nice woodlands. And just behind you here at the grounds of the old Crom Castle, we have the Crom yew trees, very famous trees amongst the 50 greatest trees in Great Britain.
Now, one of the things that you can do on the Crom Estate is go out on a cot. Stuart, tell us about the cot.
The cot here is a traditional Lochern boat. This was always a passenger cot used to transport the family in the castle to and from church, and also used to transport school children from this side of the loch over to the schoolhouse, which we'll see shortly.
The geography of the land is completely different from the lake than from the water, and there's an awful lot of people who wouldn't even know that.
The estate looks at its best from the water as well.
So that's it, the very special Crom Estate, the third of our National Trust properties that you must come and see.